The Caribbean has some of the highest rates of overweight and obesity in the Americas.
Parents are usually meticulous about what goes into their children's mouths from 0 to 1 year. But then something happens after 1 year when we say to them, eat from the family pot. Right. Somehow the family pot extends to snacks, both sugary and salty, soft drinks and candies of all descriptions.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm not to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No.
Let's go to the last part.
Pastor J, I want to get a tattoo.
You really want
to me. Respond to me how you would respond to me.
The first question I'd ask is why?
Controversial taboo topics.
We get so consumed by church, we forget that we have to live the life of being a Christian outside of the Sunday.
Like you say,
services.
we think going to a service makes us a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So here we are about to hear the second time Pastor J wanted to take a tattoo.
Would have been late last year and early this year.
Oh gosh.
Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor J and Ren.
The best laptops and tablets are at dbesttoys.com. Get a Gateway 14.1-inch Ultra Slim notebook or an HP 14-inch laptop at the best prices in TNT. Get the Fire 7 tablet for $474. You can also shop the latest Amazon Fire Sticks. Call now at 32-DBEST to order or visit us in-store at Forces flagship MacBean. Shop online now at dbesttoys.com. Free delivery available throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Cash or links on delivery.
This is 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson. The distance from where we should be in the world in going forward on our commitments with climate change.
The effects of climate change that cannot be accounted for. It's called loss and damage, and we're seeing loss and damage happening so much more in this decade and the previous decade.
The principal term there was this question of the correspondent banking issues.
That is why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region. Man is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a very democratic forum. I mean, and Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada in spite of the obvious difference in size.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
We are tackling the hard-hitting topics, some controversial topics, some topics we sweep under the rug. You don't always have to forgive in a relationship for it to move forward.
If it is you are in a situation where you forgive the person, but to the detriment of yourself, what are you really doing?
It is very uncommon for somebody in the younger age group to have dementia.
Atheists don't not believe.
Is that I can't disprove God, but you also can't prove God, so we kind of at a stalemate.
We'll focus on the woman who's being the victim, right, or the man who's being the victim. We exclude the children.
Folks are trying to study the underlying brain mechanism to figure out how does this particular disorder happen in the brain? How is the brain processing this?
Don't worry about AI, worry about humans working with AI.
Are you willing to learn new skills to stay relevant for the future job market? That's the challenge that people are going to struggle with.
WESN.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to AM Prime on WESN. I am Naomi McNish.
And I am Jada McLeod.
Thank you for joining us this morning. And once again, we are staying on trend with the political discussions,
Yes.
just chatting with various candidates.
Yes. Get to know your candidates.
Yes. So first up this morning,
we have Commander Norman Dindiel. So with the 2025 general elections on the horizon, everyone is focused on who will be representing them for the next 5 years. While some constituencies tend to pledge party loyalty, others are free for all. You know them, the marginal constituencies. Those key battlegrounds that can decide representation. One of the familiar faces hoping to tip the scale in his party's favor this time around is Commander Norman Dindiel, the National Transformation Alliance's candidate for Chaguanas East. Today, we sit down with him to learn more about his plans, his political values, vision for Chaguanas East, and what he believes sets him apart from his competitors in this highly competitive race. So good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Of course. How are you doing this morning? It's really early.
No. We get up early and in the military.
that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? So what is your military background? What is your background? And how does that inform your political campaign?
Oh, okay. So first of all, thanks for having me again. And good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. So a little bit about me, so that the public is aware, because I was actually working in what we call the silent service, the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard. That we do a lot of things behind the scenes that people are not aware of. We keep you safe. And we don't come out and say what we do, but it happens. It's very impactful. So I'm a retired military career officer. I have over 3 decades of military and maritime experience. I've been focusing on joint and interagency operations with border control and management, counterterrorism. I was working with and managed the National Coastal Radar Surveillance Center, Trinidad and Tobago, 360-degree radar surveillance center. One of my previous jobs, I'm also a mentor and a maritime consultant for the United Nations Office of Drug and Crime in the region of Eastern Africa, Somalia to be specific. So I worked there for a while, and that was focused in building their Coast Guard and counter-piracy operations in the Gulf of Aden. I'm also focused here in Trinidad and Tobago at the Joint and Interagency Task Force. So a lot of the drug interdictions that you would have seen happening in the past, I would have been coordinating those things in the background. I'm also fluent in Spanish. I collaborated with many bilateral agreements between Venezuela, Colombia, Latin America, and Trinidad and Tobago. So I have that wealth of experience there. Also in my spare time, I'm also a master mariner.
A master?
Master mariner. So I can captain large ships.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
So I'm a master mariner.
That is interesting. Interesting, for real.
Yeah. What again? Let's see. And on my spare time, I mentor. And I'm also volunteer for the Ministry of Agriculture as a honorary game warden. So I'm to protect and conserve our flora and fauna for future generations.
So you're very involved.
So I'm quite involved, and this is some of the things that I mentioned there you would not know, because I'm working at a different level. I've been working at more the regional, national and regional level, and sometimes at the international level, because the interagency operations that I've been working with would have been with our other partners, our partners in the region, the Gendarmerie, U.S. Southern Command. So my international aspect in drug busts and stuff, you would hear about them, but you would not know my direct involvement. So one of the interesting ones that everybody knows about is the Monas Island drug bust. I was very instrumental in that drug bust, and that's the largest drug bust that was in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
So it's something you would know about, but that's where the guys that work behind the scenes that actually have it done.
Well, I mean, you have a wealth of experience, expertise, knowledge under your belt, which is very impressive. So, but I also understand you are the NTA's central coordinator, right? So, we're going to tie it, kind of shift the conversation now to, Shoguness East. And what strategies can you tell us that you have or plan to employ to connect with and understand the needs of the Shoguness East residents?
Well, first of all, I forgot to mention that I'm, just like the other candidates, I was born and grew up in Shoguness East. So Shoguness East is my home. And we have a very strong family ties in Shoguness East, the family name in Shoguness, Dindial Hanuman Singh. And my family was always about service. So the Presbyterian Church and the lands for that and the very first Kunupir police station were donated by my family. And the community center that is there in Kunupir right now, that was advocated by my deceased mother. So the family name is well respected in the area, and we have a history of service. So it's about service, it's about building the community. We're always about that, strengthening the bonds of our society. And you would see that would have followed me throughout my career, and that's why I was at the level of helping my country, serving my country. So I'm now being retired, I'm now focusing that wealth of knowledge back into the community constituency. The thing that puts me apart is that the experience internationally that I have, you can recognize that it's not only about the constituency. There's some areas in Shoguness where you have Shoguness East, Shoguness West, Caroni Central, and Couva North. So it's about bringing all the people, all those things to bear. You can't just focus on Shoguness East alone. It's about the amalgamation of everyone. So you have to be able to work with your other constituents, your other MPs in the area, understanding the dynamics. So sometimes we're focused just only, Shoguness East. Yes, that's important. You have to know what's on the ground. And I tell you, because of my experience and living there, I know what is happening on the ground. I know what's actually going on there, but you have to be able to take that and interlace it with other areas in order for things to grow. So one of the things, you have Shogunas being the MP, present MP, and other political parties. Shogunas for the last 15 years, but Shogunas is still a borough. Why is that? Shogunas should be by this time a city.
I will say, I just want to point this out, you are the first candidate that we've spoken to that kind of viewed it in that way, where, you know, Shogunas, you have Shogunas East, West, Kearney Central, Hoover North, and you are right. I mean, I completely understand where you're coming from, that as a MP, you have to, because they're so close together, you have to make sure that everybody is on agreement with certain things, because you have one highway, and then you have all these different
boundaries.
Yes.
You have to take that in consideration.
Yeah.
If you're only looking at Shogunas East, you'd only focus on the constituency and your votes. It's not about that.
Yeah.
It's about building the community. It's about strengthening those things. So your borders, if your borders, but EBC has to use natural borders. They try to use that. So that you have the major highways or the roadways, but on one side of the street is Shogunas East, and the other side of the street is Kearney. You have to serve both.
Yes,
you have
because what happens in
transcends.
Shogunas East will also affect what happens in Kearney, because I am part of Kearney Central.
Right.
But I still know a lot of the issues that go on in Shogunas East, because I pass there all the time. It's part of...
It's your neighborhood. It's
yeah.
a stomping ground.
And when you're looking at developing Shogunas from being a borough into a city, you know, you have to take that into consideration. Yes, the margins are there. You have to look at the fundings and where the fundings go, but that's where you have to advocate and understand that it's at a higher level. You have to bring people together in order to make that happen. And Shogunas is supposed to be a city by now.
Yes, I want to kind of explore the intention, your genuine motivation for this. Because yes, you've had a life of service for so long, but entering into politics, why now? Why now?
Right. So that's an interesting question. And if you follow me on TikTok, and on Facebook. It's a two-part series, and part one, I spoke about it. What the impetus for me to get into politics actually happened in 2014. In 2014. So 2014 was, you know, that defining moment that I decided that politics was the way to go. I served for 30 years in the service, law enforcement. But you follow the system. When you follow the system, you can't change anything because you are part of the system. So in 2014, I had an unfortunate experience where I experienced corruption at some levels that it did not set well with me. It did not set well with me. And my friends in the area would say, no, Commander, you know, you working with law enforcement and you believe everything's so nice, you know, you think that it works well. You don't know how it is on the ground for me. And to some extent, I was through because I was working with, you know, the levels of police at the assistant commissioner, the commissioner of police, and I thought that, you know, training and stuff was good. And that the poor man on the street, really, you know, I thought that the poor man on the street were treated fairly. Were treated fairly until, you know, I was experienced with a justice of the peace asking for a bribe. And
wow.
So, you know, that is amazing, a justice of the peace asking for a bribe. But they didn't know who I was at the time. And I said, you know, Commander India, you can't stand for this. What your friends are telling you is true. Imagine if they're asking me, because they don't know who I am, what's really happening to the poor man out there, or the person who doesn't know anybody, and it's not supposed to be like that. Everybody in Trinidad and Tobago is supposed to, regardless if you're from Shogunas East, you're supposed to be treated fairly,
so how would
equitably.
You deal with that going forward? Any sort of abuse of power?
So that's what I said. You look for part two. Look for part two. I decided that, you know, this couldn't stand. This couldn't stand. And when you try to fix it, you see how endemic the corruption goes throughout the system. And the only way for me to change it, because I was part of the system, is to be out of the system where laws are made. And the only place laws are made is in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. The laws are made there, they are amended there, and if you have to change anything, you have to be there. Because if I'm in the system, I can't change anything. I have to follow the rules. Now, you hear about people, the police officers, and the officer says, well, you know, we're following the laws. they're following the laws, yes. But is it necessarily the right thing? Sometimes we follow the laws, but the laws are not right, you know. We know that the laws need to be changed. The people who change the laws are the people that sit in the lower house. These are the so people have to understand how laws are made. And because I was part of the larger process, understanding how laws are made and amended and what you're supposed to do to advocate for proper change for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, not only for your constituents. So I mean, and yes, we're talking about sugar on the seas, but for me, it's much more than that. It's about good governance for Trinidad and Tobago, and that's what got me into politics. I decided, listen, at that point in time, the only way to do this is you have to be in governance. You have to be there to change it for the people. Now, why can't we just do the right thing? You know, do our duty, do it dutifully. You see politicians every day, especially around this time, walking around and telling you, well, I bet the big thing, you know, these is the box drain. You get a box drain, you get the road, the lights. You know something, for me, that's just duty. Even if you move as a member of parliament representing your constituents, and you go to the cabinet, second nature should be roads, should be drainage. While you're at the cabinet, running the business of the government, of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, your constituents, those things are second nature. They're not supposed to be asking, you know, I'm not supposed to be walking around and telling you, look, I fix your road, look, I fix your drain. That should be done as per norm. That's what is supposed to be done, as per your duty. That is just the thing that you're supposed to, and people, you know, we have that thing that transcends or goes straight through Trinidad and Tobago. When you go to any public service office, why is it that, you know, people can't treat you with respect, and you come to have something done at 9 o'clock, they're now having breakfast, and those things. So just do your duty. You go to the cashier and the cashier isn't there, just do your duty. You know, that's all you're asking people to do. And I'm about that. I'm about doing my duty. You have a fireman, and the fireman comes and extinguishes the fire at your house, right? And then after that, the fireman, you have to tell the fireman, and you see I come? Look, I come and did. That's your job, sir. That's what you signed up for. And that's what I'm saying. I'm about service. I've been serving before, and I'm here to serve again. And just do my duty, then do it dutifully. Because I'm not supposed to be walking around and telling you, I paved your drains. I paved your road. Sorry, I gave you a box drain. Look the lights in this. That's supposed to be just. I'm supposed to be telling you what I've done at the national level. I'm supposed to be telling you the laws that have amended to make Trinidad and Tobago better, to better the lives of everybody, not just the constituents. And that's why I'm telling you, you know, what I bring different from these other individuals. The other individuals, yeah, I can't say no that they haven't done things, you know, the other opponents there, and they have done things, but more can be done and better.
Yeah. So have you had the opportunity to be on the ground and walk, you know, and meet any of the residents and chat with them?
So yes, I have been doing that. And the reason I'm very in touch with my community. So even when I was you know, at the national level, people would see me, they wouldn't know what you do, but they know about Commander Dindial. You know, they know where I live because I live there, and I interact with everybody. And I could sit at the block, right on the curb with guys, and I could sit, you know, because the Commander-in-Chief is the president, so I could have dinner with the president. So I'm able to move smoothly through that environment and relate with people while walking around. And as I said, my family name is very, very strong in the area. So people know me. So sometimes I go around and they were like, oh, Commander Dindial, and they would refer to my grandmother, because we had a shop in the area also way back in the day, and that shop provided for the community, and that's, you know, where we used to sell kerosene, salt, butter, and cheese, and that sort of thing. You know, I don't remember the penny, but I remember 50-cent salt butter. But the old people will tell me about the penny. So while walking around, they would talk to me and they would say, yes, okay, we remember you. But being connected with the community, what I've been hearing there is that they are disenfranchised with the present representation. And, you know, surprisingly, and I wouldn't say surprisingly, it's almost, you know, like a joke. They talk about box drains. They're talking about drainage. And when I walk around, the drains are there. There's water in the drain. They're not being cleaned. There's mosquitoes. It's smelling. So people have a problem. Now, when you see, and just recently, we looked at a political broadcast where they were talking about, box drain queen and box drain for everyone. That made me feel, hurt inside. Because we give people box drains, we put in box drains, but there's no proper quality assurance for the box drains. We're building into the city. Well, so that's one of the reasons probably Trillagonas is not a city, it's still a borough. Because we're building drains, we're putting drains there, but there's no proper drainage facility there, and there's no proper maintenance. So the contracts have been giving out. You have to think about development.
Sustainability.
And sustainability development, you have to have a footprint of where you want things to go. You just don't build on top of each thing. You're making a problem out of the solution. So everybody wants a box drain, you give them a contract, you figure it's a contract, but it must be done properly. And same thing with the agriculture in the area, in Chaguanas. In Chaguanas, I also, as I've been retired, I'm into agriculture also. So, and that's remember that's what I said, doing honorary game warden. So the flora and fauna, sustainability. So in agriculture, the drainage area, the irrigation, there's an irrigation problem in Chaguanas also. So some of the plans that you have for developing Chaguanas, and this is not only for Chaguanas to the city. You can look at the city of Port of Spain. We still have overhead lines all over the place. If you start moving the lines from overhead to subterranean, right, or into the box drains that you're going to build. So you think about it. You're building a box drain, okay, with that box drain you're going to build conduits, you start to remove all these ugly lines overhead. That is a hazard. You can see it in our cities. So you also create employment. Because that's a matter of employment. You get in box drains, you have the connectivity, and the city is going to look so much better. So you're moving things to a different level. Wouldn't you like to walk around Port of Spain or Chaguanas and not see all these lines overhead, all these...
What do you think holds up that sort of progress, though? Because some might argue that the reason why it's not being done by current representation is because there's cogs in the system, there's cogs in the rotary. So why do you think that may happen? And when if elected, how can you even combat that?
So that's the thing, representation. We vote party politics. We vote either red or yellow. We don't vote representation. People go into government and go into parliament not to represent the people or not to represent the ideas and the ideologies that's supposed to happen to benefit the area. When the party line is in, now I understand that you have to prioritize. Things are prioritized, but you have to advocate for it. If your advocacy is not strong, you're not going to do it. And that's why, for me, I joined the NTA because the ethos of the NTA resonated with me. And we follow something simple, the LAMP model, leadership, accountability, management, and measurement of performance. First of all, you have to have the proper leaders in place. You can't have people who you're just giving a job because they followed you blindly. You have to have the proper individual. Now, regardless if the individual is either, where the individual comes from, it doesn't matter. It's about meritocracy, not mediocrity, and not rewarding people for just being, your supporter. We understand that, people that support you, yes, you have to support them somehow. But when it comes to governance, you have to have the right people in the position, the proper leaders, people who can make the hard decisions. You have to be properly trained. And then from that, management and measurement of performance. You have people in positions right now in government that are failing. There's no measurement of performance. There's no index or matrix. We talk about KPIs, right? I mean, everybody knows about that, key performance indicators. And we have them, but nobody in the government service holds the individuals accountable.
Supposed to.
For those things. So we don't write up files anymore and calling the individual and say, listen, your key performance indicators here, these are the things that you were supposed to be doing, you haven't done them, listen, I'm going to hold you accountable for them now, give you the chance and the ability to fix that. And then if you don't, we'll put someone else. So you're giving so you're not just getting rid of somebody, you're giving them the opportunity to fix it. Because it's about development, strengthening, building. And these are key people in positions that have nation building, talk about national building. And that's the problem we have. And I said the LAMP model, simple model, can be adopted now. So you don't need a new ministry to do that. Just you need people in place to do that. You need the correct people in place. So you're talking about, you saw that in the police service. You need a strong leader, someone that will make the hard decisions, someone that will not bend to corruption and political will. Because you have people that, bend by politics. So you need parliamentarians in government that will vote for a bill laid in Parliament regardless of party lines. You're voting for the right thing. When Trinidad and Tobago reach for that, I think they're ready.
You think
I think we are ready. We have young people, we have bright people that are coming into the politics right now. You see, and you're seeing the shift. You're seeing the shift there. You're seeing individuals in both parties, young individuals coming up, people that are smart, people that are woke. They're woke politically. You understand? We're not falling for the same old thing that Granny said that, I red or yellow till I dead. No, we're not going down that road anymore. Yeah. We have individuals that are. And then I'm the bridge. The National Transformation Alliance, we call the bridge constituency. We are the bridge. So I'm neither too old, neither too young. I'm one of those individuals that are there and can make that bridge. The young people.
Commander Danielle, we do have to start wrapping up, but I really want to touch on youth, right? Youth in the area. So do you have any planned initiatives that could, or anything that you're considering that would engage or empower the youth in Chaguanas East? Because this was a discussion, a topic that we touched on with Richie Sukai, right, which is the PNM candidate. And we established that it is an issue, youth feeling empowered or youth feeling that they, in terms of access to jobs after school and, access to education and training programs after when they leave secondary school, etc.
Right. So I forgot to mention, and I said, when you ask me who I am, I'm a lot of things to different people. So as the commanding officer of the Defense Force headquarters, one of my portfolios, I manage the officers that manage the programs that we have in Trinidad and Tobago, the CCC, the MyLads, the MyParts, the CISP. Those programs fell under my portfolio. So I'm real aware of those programs. I mean, Minister Foster Cummings is now there about national service, but he's at the ministerial level. I was actually there doing the programs, recognizing the programs, so I understand those programs. So we have in Trinidad and Tobago, we have a lot of things. What you find happening in the programs is getting the youth to come to the program. Now, we give stipends, there are stipends there. What you have but marketing is one of the problems. Yes. You have to market it to the youth for the youth to understand. All youth, yeah. So it's not just about your constituency, because we have these things. So we have these things throughout Trinidad and Tobago, throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So you have to market it properly to the youth to get the youth involved. You have to also market it to the parents, because the youth that's trying to come to the program, or the ones that we are targeting for those programs, are the youths that are, I don't want to say underprivileged, but they're the youths that require a certain amount of intervention. And sometimes the social structure, the family structure, does not lend to the youth being put into the program. So, you don't want to curb parents too much, but sometimes your parents, no, what are you going there for? The parents, so you have to have that support from the parents. You have to have that support from the community. And then you have certain areas, and we like to stigmatize areas. Everywhere in Trinidad and Tobago is good, right? I looked at, Christmas lists and stuff like that. I woke up, Laventine and stuff like that, and I don't have a problem. I mean, that's just me, probably because of my military training and me being in Somalia and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just a custom.
It's just a custom. But involving and being able to engage with the youth and be able to engage with individuals, you have to listen. You have to listen. And our programs, we have to listen and find out what you know. Unfortunately, some of the programs, the youth are already affected. So you're trying to bring youth that are affected into the program. Marketing is important for that. You have gangs in the area that are also drawing them in. Because, you know, they're looking for the fast lifestyle. You have to pull them away from that and let them know that this is the thing that you're going to do. And then the gangs in the area, sometimes apart from telling them that, you know, drawing them that, you know, it's nice, the gun thing, they also the negative effect. The gangs actually tell them, if you go there, you know, we're going to come at you. So they're scared. Yeah. They're actually scared. And that brings me back to linking it where we have to fix crime. Crime is something that you have to fix in Trinidad and Tobago. National security is the first thing that you need to fix. And, you know, one of the ethos that we have, or in the NTA, is that if you fix crime, people prosper. Yeah. Businesses prosper. You prosper. Because it's a domino effect. And, you know, you would hear Rishi Sukai or the other candidates say that, you know, business in the community. Yes, business is important. But a business will not invest if the business feels that it's going to be robbed.
Or unsafe. So some people have the opinion that crime is almost, it's part of a society. It's going to happen regardless. It's something we can do. What would you guys say is to challenge that?
No, that's not true. I mean, I don't believe that anybody is innately born or predicated to crime. I mean, nobody will do that. Nobody. So you have crime of passion. Right, it's a whole different type of crime, and that is, you know, you have been pushed to do something like that. The ego gets in, but everybody is innately good. You know, we're all good. When children play together.
So you think there's a way for us to solve crime, to get on top of the issues?
So it has to start in the schools. It has to start at the small level. And, you know, your society. It has to start there. In schools, we don't teach things like home ec and that kind of thing in school anymore. We don't teach things about nationalism. I mean, yeah, when last you hear anybody think about the pledge? You know,
I believe they still do it in
some schools. They still do it, but they don't. But the Constitution, they're supposed to have aspects of the Constitution in the curriculum in school so people to understand how important this is. But the Early Childhood Center, very, very good. All my kids went to the Early Childhood Center. Excellent. You don't have to go to any private institution. Very, very, very good institution. So education is important at the early level. And that's why you find right now, we're saying crime is bad, but it's just a couple gangs, a couple areas, a couple like. And for me, I can't understand, I mean, I'm retired, I can't understand why we still can't get a handle on it. And I'm sure with the NTA, we can get a handle on it, because my political leader, Captain Gary Griffith, people felt safe. People felt safe when he was there. There was no kidnapping. Well, we got a handle on that. When anything happened, you would hear a few moments later, and there was the fear in the criminals that, you know, things would happen. So when you say crime ran out, and we reached a state of emergency, that's the last place we want to be, a state of emergency. Most of the things that we're doing in the state of emergency, we could have done before with the proper leadership and the proper management. And that, we can get a handle in crime almost immediately. Yeah. Almost immediately, and fix that. The people that are there, people are good people in Trinidad and Tobago. Right?
Commander Digicel, I don't mean to cut you off, but we do have to wrap up. So really quickly, you know, less than 30 seconds, leave a message with the residents of Chaguanas East. Leave a message with them, let them know.
Well, first of all, I would like to tell the people in Chaguanas East and the wider community of Trinidad and Tobago, we need to stop voting for party, you know, colors. We need to wake up. We need to understand that it's about proper representation in government. Vote for the representative that you know will do the correct things, the right things for you, for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Not party, the ones that will sit in parliament, the ones that would make the laws that make our lives a better place and make Trinidad and Tobago and bring Trinidad and Tobago back onto the world stage, the place that we're supposed to be.
Nice. Well said.
Thank you so much for that.
Thanks for joining us this morning. That was Lieutenant Commander Norman Dindial on his candidacy for Chaguanas East. So, as Jada would say, you know, Go out and vote. Make an informed decision. If you do want to check out our interview yesterday with Mr. Richie Sukai, which is the PNM candidate for Shogunas East, you can check that out on YouTube at WESNCC. And yeah, compare the two, make your informed decision, and go out and vote come April 28th. So thank you, Commander, once again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
All right, so we're just going to take a short break and we'll be right back with you.
Do you need treatment for obesity or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience.
Give us a call at 235-5479
for more information.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378, or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up, Doc isn't just a title, it's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1, find the style number on the tag. Step 2, match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3, search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
FanZone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas, and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
This is 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson. The distance from where we should be in the world in going forward on our commitments with climate change.
The effects of climate change that cannot be accounted for. It's called loss and damage, and we're seeing loss and damage happening so much more in this decade and the previous decade.
The principal term there was this question of the correspondent banking issues.
That is why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region.
Man is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a very democratic forum. And Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada, in spite of the obvious difference in size.
I am Dr. Delphina Ovid, your friendly neighborhood dentist. At Community Hospital Dental Clinic, we offer examinations which include x-rays, basic oral cancer screening, and a treatment plan. We also offer cleanings, fillings, extractions, root canal treatment, and complete and partial dentures. Remember, you don't have to brush and floss all your teeth, just the ones you want to keep.
Give us a call at 235-5479.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
We are tackling the hard-hitting topics, some controversial topics, some topics we sweep under the rug. You don't always have to forgive in a relationship for it to move forward.
If it is you are in a situation where you forgive the person, but to the detriment of yourself, what are you really doing?
It is very uncommon for somebody in the younger age group to have dementia.
Atheists don't not believe.
Is that I can't disprove God, but you also can't prove God, so we cannot have a stalemate.
We'll focus on the woman who's being the victim, or the man is being the victim. We exclude the children.
Folks are trying to study the underlying brain mechanism to figure out how does this particular disorder happen in the brain? How is the brain processing this?
Don't worry about AI, worry about humans working with AI.
Are you willing to learn new skills to stay relevant for the future job market? That's the challenge that people are going to struggle with.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm nothing to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break a balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No,
of the
not no.
Let's go to the last part.
Welcome back to the program this morning. So moving swiftly along, our next guest is Jamel Hunt, the Patriotic Front's candidate for Trin-City Maloney, representing a party that emphasizes humanity and responsibility, especially concerning pressing issues like migration. Jamel is poised to being a fresh perspective to the political landscape. Today, we explore his plans for Trin-City Maloney and how he envisions addressing the challenges faced by constituents. So good morning, Mr. Hunt. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. And firstly, let me say thank you for having me.
Of course. So right off the bat, what inspired you to enter politics? And it's a two-in-one. And who is Jamal Hunt?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that question. What inspired me to enter politics is my desire and my drive to serve people. Because I believe that politics is about customer service first and serving the people, really and truly representing the people. Who is Jamal Hunt? I mean, Jamal Hunt is a lot of things to a lot of different people. Very simply, I am a person just like everybody in my constituency and even everybody in my country. I'm a young person that is interested in seeing the change that we want to see in society. And I mean, as I say, I'm a lot of things to a lot of persons. I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a concerned citizen of the country.
And how would you describe the current state of your constituency? And what are 3 things that you believe the community urgently needs that you can address?
Definitely. My constituency of Trinity Maloney is poised with a lot and is faced with a lot of misrepresentation. One, as a man on the ground, I realize and I've seen that a lot of persons have said that we feel neglected. As young people in particular, we feel neglected. We feel misrepresented. We feel like we don't have a say at the table. And even on my walks, a lot of people are just fed up. They are fed up of the current state of affairs. They are fed up of, the talk and the promises. I myself, I'm also fed up. So this is why I decided, listen, if we want to have a change in society, then we need to stand up and be that change.
Are you a resident of Trinity Maloney?
Yes, I am a resident of the constituency.
Okay, okay. So what strategies do you have in place to boost economic development and employment opportunities in the constituency?
That's a fantastic question. I think that is also a multifaceted approach because in Trinity Maloney, we face a lot of young people that are unemployed, underemployed, and undeployed. You see, I strongly believe in the deployment of young people. Young people need to understand their true potential. So this is one of the first things that I think that we should target. Really young people standing up and understanding that I have a purpose, I have a voice. If you look at my campaign thus far, I would have focused on, and even the patriotic front, we would have focused a lot on the persons that don't want to vote anymore. The people that feel like they don't have a voice. So once we target these things, we show young people that I do have a voice. I do have a say in this thing. So that's one of the areas that we want to target first. Really deploying young people and empowering them to understand their true potential.
Yeah. So, I mean, how would you, like, as you said, members of your constituency, they feel underappreciated or misrepresented. How would you, involve the community in the decision-making processes of the constituents? How are you going to go about that? What is the step-by-step?
Sure. One of the things, as I mentioned earlier, is that politics is about representation. It's about customer service. And the first thing you need to do as a part of customer service is actually listening. So politics is about listening to your people, not just making decisions on their behalf, but really and truly listening to their concerns. And even on my campaign, I've really listened to the ground.
Yeah.
And the majority of people on the ground, they, as I mentioned earlier, they are disenchanted, they are neglected, they feel misrepresented. How do I intend to deal with that? The first step is by listening to their concerns.
What about taking it a step further? If you were to get elected and you were sitting in Parliament, how do you advocate for your constituents' needs?
Well, I mean, that's a fantastic question. I mean, as I mentioned, the first thing is really listening. And when you listen to the people, you understand what they need. When you understand what they need, then and only then can you really and truly impact and really advocate for the change that they do desire.
So, being a man on the ground, what are some of the needs that they have shared with you right now?
First and foremost, job security.
Yeah.
A lot of young people, as I mentioned earlier as well, too, are unemployed. Growing up in Maloney, I looked at a lot of young people that would just get up, and the first thing they would do is go on the block. You know, they would look for something that is unproductive. You know, and we have a lot of that facing, you know, Trinity Maloney, and I speak of Trinity Maloney as a constituency, you know, because more so Maloney, especially in the buildings, I grew up in the buildings, and to see the level of young people as they come out of school not able to, you know, get into a job or be prepared for a job, it really is disheartening. So job security is one. We also face crime, but before we even tackle crime, we need to tackle the economy. Because if the economy is functioning properly, then crime will ultimately be on the decline.
What do you have to say to people who might think that you're too young?
That's a really interesting question, because, I mean, a lot of people may watch you all as well and say that I think that they're too young to be on TV. But here you guys are doing a fantastic job. I say give young people a chance. Because young people are not just the future of our nation. Young people are the now. And when we understand that we are the now, then we will understand that we need to stand up. First and foremost, we need to stand up. No, the time has gone where we must just sit down and take things that is going to affect our future. As a father myself, I understand that in the next 5 years, my son may be getting ready to do SCA exams. I need to stand up and make a decision that is going to affect him. I need to stand up. We as young people need to stand up and make a decision that is going to affect our future. It's no longer our grandparents' future and our parents' future. This is our future. This is our now. So young, yes, but the only way we can get experience is if we start now.
Yeah. Are you considering any policies that might enhance the educational outcomes and youth engagement in the area?
Most definitely. I think that the entire education system needs a reformation. You know, I share the sentiments of one of my dear colleagues from San Fernando East, where in secondary schools we have POA and we have POB. What about POF? The principles of finance. Because we have a lot of young people that they leave school and they don't even understand how to open a bank account. This is my field. I'm a businessman by trade. And I face a lot of young people, and a lot of people in general, even adults, who don't even know how to set up for a mortgage, sign up for a mortgage, you know, apply for a job application, simple things like that, manage their finances. So I think that we need a serious reformation as it pertains to the education system. And really deal with applied knowledge, things that we could actually use. Do they teach things like journalism in secondary school? They don't. So these are things that are real. And we want to deal with the real issues that are facing people.
Something I hear from people is that they're very tired of the brand of politics that we have right now. Like, one thing that happens in Parliament a lot is the use of peacock. People are so tired of the back and forth. How do you plan to engage in that? Do you believe in that?
That's not at the Patriotic Front, that's not our type of politics. We are too focused on the people to have time for mudslinging. We are too focused on the concerns of our constituency and the concerns of our country to have time for the back and forth, the mudslinging and the name calling. We don't have time for that. We are on the ground. As we mentioned, we are a humanitarian party. We really focus on the human nature of our country.
Yeah, it's no secret that you know, many people complain. One of the biggest complaints about MPs are, you know, coming up to elections, we see you, and then after elections, now we don't see you. And then what happened to all the promises you made before elections? You know, when you were trying to win our votes. You know, so how are you planning to, you know, remain involved in the community even after elections? You know, if you win.
And you know, when I win, you see, because I'm not just going into this thing to be a competitor. I'm going into this thing to really represent the people of my community. And I don't give the young people wrong who say, you know, only election time we see our MP, or only election time we see our representative, and we don't see them again. I don't give them wrong. Because I too am that young person who feel that way. How do I intend to deal with that? As I mentioned, I've always been a man on the ground. This is not a now thing for me. I've been in the community, I've been on the ground for the past 13 years, representing various young people at different levels. So we have been given a version of representative politics that is, really disheartening. And I can't give the young people wrong for that. But I intend to change that game by staying on the ground. Staying on the ground and really being among the heart of the people. And that's what we are about. We are about the heart of the people.
Yeah, if one thing, you kill them with kindness. You.
So I have a question. When it comes to, since you've been so involved in service for quite some time, are you prepared for public life? Are you prepared to be an MP? The scrutiny.
That's a fantastic question, because as young people, when we stand up to represent something that is bigger than ourselves, and that's what being a patriot is. Being a patriot is really standing up and fighting for something that is bigger than yourself. And we can never truly be ready for something like that. Because politics, as we know, is fluid. We know we get into things and things happen, but as young people, we put our lives on the line. As young people, you put your lives on the line being here. People are sure that there's some really nasty comments. In my videos, you see a lot of nasty comments. But as I mentioned, we too focused on the concerns and the issues that face our community. First, to focus on the negatives. First, to focus on if we are really too ready. This is time that we stand up and do what we need to do for our community and for our country.
And that's as simple as that.
Yeah, there's a get to know you question that I like to ask. Sure. If you were an animal, what animal would you be?
A lion.
All right.
I believe that I'm the king of the jungle.
It's pretty self-explanatory, and I know that we do
so
have to
less than 30 seconds, leave a message with the residents of Trin City, Maloney.
Thank you for that. Young people, this is your time. The time for change is now. No longer must we wait for that change. On April 28th, I urge all young people to stand up. Let your voice and let your vote be counted. Vote for change. Vote for the heart.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hunt.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's lovely to have you on.
Thank you so much.
Of course. So we're just going to take a little bit of an ad break, and then we're switching gears. So yes, just stay with us.
Do you need treatment for obesity or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience.
Give us a call at 235-5479
for more information.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1, find the style number on the tag. Step 2, match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3, search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
The best for your baby is at thebesttoys.com. From the best strollers, car seats, baby carriers, high chairs, booster seats, rockers, jumpers and bouncers, walkers, baby blankets, feeding accessories, bathtubs. Visit us in-store at Forces Flagship McLean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 332-BABY. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
Pastor J, I want to get a tattoo.
You really
respond
wanna-
to me.
respond to
me
you?
how you would respond to me.
The first question I'll ask is why?
Controversial taboo topics.
We get so consumed by church, we forget that we have to live the life of being a Christian outside of the Sunday.
Like you say,
services.
we think going to a service makes us a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, so here we are about to hear the second time Pastor J wanted to take a tattoo.
Would have been late last year and early this year.
Oh gosh.
Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor J and Ren.
We are tackling the hard-hitting topics, some controversial topics, some topics we sweep under the rug. You don't always have to forgive in a relationship for it to move forward.
If it is you are in a situation where you forgive the person, but to the detriment of yourself, what are you really doing?
It is very uncommon for somebody in the younger age group to have dementia.
Atheists don't not believe.
Is that I can't disprove God, but you also can't prove God. So we cannot have a stalemate.
We'll focus on the woman who's being the victim, or the man who's being the victim. We exclude the children.
Folks are trying to study the underlying brain mechanism to figure out how does this particular disorder happen in the brain? How is the brain processing this?
Don't worry about AI. Worry about humans working with AI.
Are you willing to learn new skills to stay relevant for the future job market? That's the challenge that people are going to struggle with.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up, Doc isn't just a title, it's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
Hello and welcome back to AM Prime. So, as I said before, we would be switching gears from a little bit from the political talk, and we are going to be just catching you guys up on any news you may have missed. Yeah, so just anything you may have missed. So, the first thing we're going to jump into is a purged UNC. Opposition leader Kamala Prasad-Bissessa has had a lot to say over the past couple of years, and as we're winding up to the elections on April 28th, her words have gotten a bit bolder. Most recently, she has said that she has finally purged the UNC. Many have responded to this not so favorably, indicating that she was taking a jab at the beloved Bastille Pandey and his version of the UNC. Some thought that she may have been referring to Michaela Pandey, leader of the Patriotic Front. But now in the races against the UNC, essentially shutting her out from ever possibly coming back to the party. This is just some of the commentary that we've heard. So take a look at what she had to say in this video for more.
In a packed Center of Excellence auditorium, with a crowd bolstered by the presence and energy of some of the country's biggest trade unions, and in the presence of a new slate made up of some fresh faces in the UNC, Kamala Prasad-Bissessa said after a decade and a half, she's finally cleansed her party.
I have no regrets. I have purged from our party the politics of caste. I have purged from our party the politics of class. I have purged from our party nepotism, family connections, segregation, discrimination, and dynasty from the UNC.
The UNC leader even took aim at her former leader, Bastille Pandey.
It took me about 15 years to transform the UNC from a one-man show, from hereditary aristocracy, to transform it into meritocracy. Nepotism has been purged from the UNC.
Political scientist Dr. Bishnu Raghunath believes this was Prasad-Bissessa's announcement that the presence of Bastille Pandey's people and his influence in the party are well and truly over. He tells CNC3 News this was also Prasad-Bissessa's way of saying there is absolutely no way back for Michaela Pandey in the UNC.
The way Michaela still positions herself is that she is Bastille Pandey reincarnate, and I think that is an attempt to now to dispel any concern that Michaela has any role again to play within the UNC. She could stay with her patriotic front.
Meanwhile, political analyst Dr. Shane Mohammed believes this is a warning from the UNC leader to those who feel entitled to a position in the party.
There are those who choose to fight for space within the UNC, believing that they could simply waltz in and get a space because of who they are.
Mohammed believes the country is witnessing the evolution of the UNC.
All right, as you just heard, that is quite a lot of commentary by analysts that we would have had on the show before, respected analysts. I don't know what to make of it. Is it a good thing that she has said that? Has she maybe made people feel a bit disconnected with the party? Because there are some people that may have disagreed with her, the party, and I'm talking about people that are called the dissidents, and they say Anita Haynes and Mr. Lala. I believe these people have challenged her before, and they're now seen as outsiders. But people tend to resonate with people like Anita Haynes and so on. So is this a good thing for the UNC? I don't know. I don't know if what she said has done the party any favors. But we're just gonna move swiftly along from that video. In this next video that you're about to see, some U.S. young adults, students, ask Senator Bernie Sanders questions that are on the minds of many. It unfortunately would not be 2025 if Donald Trump did not give us something to talk about. In the video you're about to see, some young adults got the opportunity to ask Independent Senator Bernie Sanders some questions. Sanders is usually seen as the dependable, trustworthy grandpa type to some U.S. citizens. He's beloved by many. Even though he's independent, he's beloved by many Democrats. So he took the opportunity to answer the questions, some questions which can provide some much needed context on where the U.S. is at right now, and by extension, us all. So take a look.
This is Grace Copps, a student at Georgetown University. She's a Democrat originally from New York. Grace.
Good evening, Senator Sanders. My question is as follows. How can the United States go about repairing our relationship with allies like Canada after the second Trump administration?
Well, I think there's going to have to be acknowledgement that what we stand for as a country is not to be the bully of the world. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the idea that you insult the Prime Minister, that you tell Canada they're going to become our 51st state, that you tell the people in Denmark, oh, by the way, we're taking Greenland away from you. This is outrageous. And what I would like us to be is a leader of the world based on our democracy as a model, based on our compassion, based on our work to fight climate change and help people all over the world transfer away from fossil fuel to sustainable energy so that we can save the planet. So that's a little bit what I like.
Let me just ask you in terms of relationships, if the end result or the results in the next 90 days of these tariffs that the president has put on is lowering of tariffs by other nations against the U.S., will it have been worth it? If this brings them to the negotiating table?
Nothing is worth it. Look, the isolation, how is it worth it? What is worth it when you have people that have been our neighbors and allies and friends for almost 200 years in Canada now distrusting the United States, our friends in the UK, throughout Europe distrusting the United States? We are becoming isolated from the rest of the world. So there's very little that I can see that would make it worth that.
But, by the way, Grace's question was about what happens after Trump finishes his second term.
But we got a lot of repair work to do.
No, but you know what he said about a third term. Yeah. Do you think he's serious?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think you have somebody whose main function, what he wants is power and wealth for his oligarch friends. So nothing would surprise me about Trump.
I want you to meet Jayan Chatterjee. He's a student at Georgetown University, originally from New York. He's a Democrat. Jayan, welcome.
Hi, Senator Sanders. Senator, for many years, your theory of power has rested on a critique of oligarchy. But in the past few years, around the world, the rise of populist right-wing leaders has seemed even more closely related to a loss of faith in institutions, loss of faith in the media, in public health authorities, in judiciaries, and of course, as you've mentioned, in democratic political bodies. Is a singular focus on oligarchy sufficient to address the skepticism in democratic institutions that has driven many Americans and people around the world to the far right?
That's a great question, thanks. Oh, look.
See, American universities.
There you go. Here's what I think. I don't think that Donald Trump was elected president because he went around the country telling folks that he was going to give massive tax breaks to billionaires and cut Medicaid, or that he was going to eviscerate the Social Security Administration or throw 83,000 workers off of the Veterans Administration, or that he was going to cut Medicaid. That's not why he was elected president. He was elected president, I think, because many, many millions of people are looking at the economic and political system in America and understand that it is not working for them. All right? You tell them to go out and vote, and they go out and vote, and what happens? Over the last 52 years, the average American worker, in inflation accounted for dollars, is earning less than he or she did 52 years ago. And there's been a massive transfer of wealth during that period to the top 1%. Oh, go out and vote. Go out and vote for this candidate or that candidate. Really? Who cares? What does it matter? The rich get richer. I am struggling. Richest country in the world, 60% living paycheck to paycheck. Now, tied to that, and this is an issue that we have to talk about tonight, and I'd love people's feelings about it. And we don't talk about it in media, and we don't talk about it in Congress very much, is when you talk about people losing faith in the American political system, it's justified because you have a corrupt campaign finance system. So you get one vote, and you get one vote, and Elon Musk can spend $270 million to help elect Donald Trump to become president, and then his reward is he becomes the most powerful person in government. And it's not just Republicans. You got Democratic billionaires heavily influencing what goes on in the Democratic Party. As I mentioned earlier, I feel very strongly that the United States government should not give another nickel to the Netanyahu extremist government that has killed 50,000 people in Gaza, wounded over 110,000 people. All right, that's my view. You may disagree with me. But you got AIPAC telling any Democrat who stands up to Netanyahu, guess what, we're going to primary you. We're going to spend millions of dollars to defeat you. So does it sound like we're living in a democracy when Musk can intimidate any Republican? You stand up to me, we're going to primary you. We're going to defeat you. We got a corrupt campaign finance system influencing both political parties. So the average American says, yeah, I got one vote. And Musk can spend hundreds of millions of dollars. Is that a democracy? Why should I vote? And then Trump comes along and says, the whole system is broken. And I'm gonna annihilate the whole system. Well, the system is broken. Our healthcare system is broken. No question about it. Our child care system is broken. Our housing system is broken. Our campaign finance system is broken. Both political parties are dominated by big money interests. So people have a right to be angry. But our answer is to improve the situation, to create a vibrant democracy, to get big money out of the political process is an enormously important thing.
Does it look like we're living in a democracy? Here's what, I want to just define democracy, right? Democracy literally means rule by the people, empowering individuals to exercise political control over the form and functions of their government. It's the possessive. We're using the possessive form of the word, their government. And when creating laws and policies, the elected representatives in a democracy strive to balance conflicting demands and obligations to maximize freedom and protect individual rights. That is what democracy is.
I think that's what a lot of the politicians need to go back and learn. And learn, yeah.
Are we seeing a proper exercise of democracy? And not just, you know, as we were talking about the US there, because we were talking about it a little bit earlier, and even our producers had to chime in.
Yes. So you see, it's not just happening in the US, but it's happening in a lot of countries. Right now, a lot of countries are dealing with the same thing.
Exactly. Exactly. Why aren't the people that we put into office, you know, that we give these grand salaries to, and these the nice cars and the drivers and all of this? You're giving all of this for a reason. See, make your life easier so that you could focus on the issues at hand. But now your life easy and my life hard. How? That's not what it's supposed to be.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. All right.
So we're going to move along now to another story in the news. The one that's not too. It's sad.
Yeah.
So there were 6 dead in a helicopter crash yesterday. Our sincere condolences to the families that lost a loved one in that devastating tragedy. The event occurred yesterday on the Hudson River near Midtown Manhattan just after 3 p.m. The sound alone is bone-chilling. Yes. The helicopter lost control shortly after it turned at the George Washington Bridge to move along the New Jersey shoreline, officials said. The cause is under investigation, and we will continue to update you more as details become available. So have a look. Wow. I mean, it was also reported that majority of the occupants of the helicopter were children. So it was six on board the helicopter. I believe 2 were adults and the rest were children. So that was...
Your family traveling from Spain.
Yes.
Was I want to cry. That is...
Yeah.
Completely devastating. It's an absolute tragedy.
And they did attempt to perform CPR initially, but all were unsuccessful. 2 of the occupants of the helicopter they took to the hospital, but died upon arrival. So
it's absolutely bone chilling, as you said. It really does something to me. But I know, of course, we send our sincere condolences to the families and those affected by this.
And it's interesting, I mean, you see a lot, I find recently there has been a lot of air crash, I don't know what to call it, with plane crashes, now the helicopter. And over the years especially too, we've seen that more than we should. Why are the helicopters and planes crashing? They just...
I can't answer that. I really can't answer that. But all I can say is that, yes, our sincere condolences. And, just carrying some news back to Trinidad, right here in Trinidad. We have a little bit of a better news, depending on how you look at it. So I was walking down Independence Square the other day, my little boba in hand, drinking my little drinky drink, and I saw some construction going on near New Center City Mall. I looked and I shrugged. I didn't really know what was going on there, but now we know a new mall is being put up in Port of Spain, like Port of Spain needs any new malls. Take a look, won't you?
For a number of persons, number 43 Independence Square, Port of Spain, holds major significance. Previously known as the Drag Brothers Mall, the site, destroyed by fire, is now under the jurisdiction of the Port of Spain Shopping Complex Limited, Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. That historic spot in East Port of Spain will now write a new chapter in its history. On Wednesday, the sod was turned for the construction of a new 5-story modern building that will house 22 spaces for well-deserving entrepreneurs. Minister in the Ministry of National Security and incumbent Member of Parliament for Port of Spain South, Keith Scotland, said this building will be a safe space for all of Trinidad and Tobago and will play a vital role in reinvigorating the city's landscape.
At a time where businesses seem to be moving and taking root elsewhere, the addition of this new Port of Spain shopping complex at number 43 Independence Square is an exciting development for the city's urban regeneration and revitalization.
He encouraged prospective business owners to be diverse in their offerings.
Let it not be a place where every store you go you see clothes. Let's think outside of the box now. Let's have some AI. Let's have a games world. Let's have a nice cafe where people could, a bistro where we can sit down and have a coffee. Let's think outside of the box, not for us, but for our children and our children's future.
Minister of Housing, Adrian Leonce, said this new construction is part of the ministry's urban upgrading and revitalization program. He revealed that construction will begin on April 14th and is expected to be completed by November 2025.
When completed, the facility will house and support business that in turn will create even more employment opportunities. This new facility will accommodate 22 tenants, each operating with designated booth spaces. However, this initiative extends far beyond mere occupancy. The Port of Spain shopping complex will serve as business incubators designed to foster entrepreneurship by providing small businesses with affordable, structured environment in which to grow.
The 22 spaces for entrepreneurs will be available for rent as low as $500 per month. It will take on the incubator model, where entrepreneurs are expected to transition to the open market, thus making way for other entrepreneurs to utilize the space.
There's a lot of discussions to be had about that. I really do hope that they stick to it in it being a thing that creates employment. But it almost begs the question, why now? And is it really necessary? I mean, Port of Spain has a lot of malls.
Yeah, but honestly, I think what I would assume they're attempting to do is to kind of upgrade the way of living, or the
quality of life.
The quality of life in the Port of Spain area, because as you can see, well, the mall, it is a modernized mall. You know, it's to kind of place something there that, you know, because when you, a lot of the malls in Port of Spain currently, they're not upgrading, you know, and I was in Jada, you know, I was a little unsure. The malls in Port of Spain currently, the ones that you see like on Frederick Street, on Charlotte Street, most of those malls are privately owned. So this mall that they're putting up here, this is well, could be one of the first public malls in the Port of Spain East area.
I really do hope, and I said they could rent it out for as little as $500 a month. I do hope that these things stay, because sometimes, you know, they put things in place and then they kind of like set it and forget it.
And you know, Jane, not only that, it's also the upkeep of it.
Yes.
Maintaining the mall is where the true test is going to lie, because you're doing this fine. You know, yes, we can agree it's not a priority, but once it's up and running and you have people inside, you know,
and operating
and it's running, maintain it. And this is for Trinidadians, maintain it.
And not just that, maintain it using actual local businesses, because I don't believe that you can walk anywhere in Trinidad for 15 minutes and not see a KFC. I don't need a KFC in this new mall.
No,
okay?
There's 2-3 KFCs in Port of Spain already. Please.
About, and that is probably minimum. Oh my gosh, here's some comments I saw from this video. Somebody, a social media user, said, "Elections time, doggy, look a bone."
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they were saying, this is really good news, but what about the residents? What about housing? What about the completion of the Port of Spain General Hospital? As you would have rightfully said, yes, it's a good thing. It can create some employment opportunities and all of these good things, but is it the priority for the community
right now? This is something good, but I think this is something good that could have come after.
But it could have come before 2025, before elections.
Yeah, but right now, I don't see why it was necessary right this minute.
I don't see why either. But moving swiftly along to a lot better news, great news yesterday was
SCA. So yeah. I was driving through Port of Spain yesterday, and I'm like I passed in front Richmond Street Sacred Heart Boys, and I'm like, all the parents are standing opposite the school with balloons, with cameras. It had, you know, the camera crew for the various TV stations there, and it was you can see all the parents just waiting, intensely waiting. They're excited, and you can feel, driving down the street, you can feel the energy and the vibe coming from, you know, anxiety, the excitement, and then the students, you know, when they come out. I can still remember SCA Day for me. It was after no, it was nerve-wracking, but after the exam, and you run outside and you see your parents waiting. That it was the most exciting, exhilarating thing. So, you know, we just want to wish all the SCA students a huge congrats.
And I really do hope that you guys took advantage of the little free things that were being handed out by businesses. I myself took advantage of that. So I really do hope
you took advantage of that.
I'm young. I mean, like, you know, I went to this business and I went to this business and I went to movie town and I went to this game place.
When you did SCA.
When I did SCA. You know, like, you know, the different business spaces they have, submit your pass, and then you get a free this. I got a lot of free things that day. So I really hope that parents, you allow your children to take advantage of that thing, because it's like it's
ease up.
Yeah,
it's a treat.
Exactly. I remember my time sitting SCA, it was just, I remember being so nervous, and yes, I was happy to see my parents, but I really do hope that the children that have sat yesterday and for the other years to come, that they understand that it's an exam.
It's just an exam.
Yeah. I want to always put that out there, because it's something that takes up a lot of pressure, a lot of mind space, and yes, we think they're children and they'll get over it, but it's something that can affect children.
Because at that point in time, that is the most stressful thing that they have going on. And we might think, you know, you're a child, you don't have to worry about anything. But no, in their ecosystem, that is the thing that is most troubling to them. That is their biggest concern, their biggest issue. So it will be a lot for them. The same way how as adults, we have our own issues. We have our own things that we are concerned about, stressed about. That's theirs, you know?
I think even if I was at an SCA right now, even if you asked me to sit the SCA exam right now as an adult, no, it would be it's too nerve-wracking. It's in a way almost traumatizing. So I do just want to tell any children that may be listening, any parents that may be listening, give your child some ice cream, give them a treat, right? Because that was hard.
And they did their best.
Yes, you guys did your best. If you're listening, you did your best. All right, so that is our show today. It's Friday, so we hope that you guys do enjoy it to the fullest. You have to live your life, and it deserves to be lived. So as usual, we'd like to leave you with a quote to propel your day into greatness. This one is by the late and great Larry King. It says, "I remind myself every morning, nothing I say this day will teach me anything. So if I'm going to learn, I must do it by listening." Again, I remind myself every morning, nothing I say this day will teach me anything. So if I'm going to learn, I must do it by listening.
Powerful.
Powerful,
and that's a powerful one side.
Yeah. Listen more, talk less.
Listen more, talk less.
As always, remember that you can find us on our YouTube or Facebook, where you can leave your comments and engage with us, and perhaps maybe your comments can be featured here on AM Prime.
Don't be shy, guys. Don't be shy. Leave your comments. We will have them on the program where we can, discuss it and engage with you.
Yes. So My name is Jada McLeod.
And Naomi McNish. And don't forget, be safe. It's the weekend, so be safe this weekend. Be safe for the rest of the day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay inspired, stay informed, and we will see you back here again Monday morning.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
WESN.
Do you need treatment for obesity or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience. Give us a call at 235-5479 for more information.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.